Hey, Janice Lamb here with Everyday Chaos. I wanted to get to the part two, but I wanted to share with how funny kids are. They're freaking hilarious. Me and Levi were dying laughing just now, and it might not be funny to you, but it was freaking hilarious. Like, my stomach hurts. Our throats hurt. I feel like I hurt my voice box from laughing so hard. So, we're playing Wobbly Life, and we're trying to do a fishing thing, and my other daughter, she had just gotten a puppy. Okay, she's about 6 months old, I want to say, and we hear the doggy door upstairs, and so we kind of like are anticipating for Coco to come downstairs, and we're kind of like prepped for it. But I'm feeling this anxious energy. I'm like, hey, that's not mine. I'm like, hey, what are you anxious about? He's like, well, I just heard the doggy door, so, I thought Coco was coming down, and so I was kind of anticipating her coming down, and she's not yet, and Mom, like, I think I'm more of a cat person than a dog person, and I was like, oh, okay, why? So him and Riley both have cats, and then Aubrey, she wanted a dog, so she got a puppy, and he's like, because why do dogs have to have wet noses, and why do they have to lick and sniff you and constantly, like, cats don't do that, okay? They don't. And I'm sitting there dying laughing because, yeah, bro, I get it. And I'm more of a dog person, but at the same time, like, I get it. Like, I don't even allow my dogs to lick my hands either. I've seen what they like. I've seen Coco eat her own shit. Like, no, don't touch me with that. So I'm dying laughing, and we're just laughing. It was just hilarious. And it's these moments that I'm like, why am I not recording this? So start recording. We need to just start recording more. I need a camera just hanging out right there so I can just rewind and be like, okay, freeze it here. This is funny. This is memorable. Keep it, you know? But also that'd be weird. Anyways, so we are on part two, and we're talking about we got sad. We got sad in the last one because we talked about how Levi's been through a lot of surgeries. This was written before we did his leg surgery. He had a left derotation of his femur bone because his femur bone was twisted. It was a 6 month recovery, and so it was before that. Okay, that's how long ago this was. Remember, 6 years ago. Anyways, journaling my awakening, or so I believe. Anyways, so we've been through 3 surgeries and 3 years of physical therapy. I refused Botox injections, then did 1 year, of gymnastics. In my opinion, I am so glad I put him in gymnastics. I hope I can do it again one day. He started having seizures 2 years ago now, and was put on a drug called Keppra, more like a nightmare. I did a bunch of research. This was also around the time I was interested in family history and changed perspective, a whole lot of things in my life in general, and cannabis. He has been on Charlotte's Web CBD oil to control his seizures, and I am so glad that I did that. He still is on that. We went a couple years without seizures happening, and then he started having seizures again, and now he's on both the CBD and the Keppra. He tried 2 other drugs, and he was allergic to them, so yeah. Anyways, bear with me because my handwriting started to get real bad. All right. Do you believe things happen for a reason? I've become obsessed with the idea all this is just part of the path part of the path. Going back to the loop. What if I was supposed to learn all this stuff, this medicine stuff, in this time because the new world is coming, the second coming, or whatever, And I'm to research and dig and question because it's part of my ancestry that we come from. We come from a long line of medicinal Indian people. I need that marker. Now get this. Okay, so this is when I'm gonna try and not say names, other than my ex-spouse, I guess. Now get this. Preston and his dairy friend, that he works for, are thinking and talking about moving the business and partnership opportunity to Lund, Nevada, which is kind of close to Caliente. And I was like, it's like the same area as the ancestors when they settled, when my eighth great grandmother married Dudley Levitt as his fourth wife. And she was our Paiute Indian grandmother. What if it's this time that it's coming quickly? Something to think about in the scriptures. I don't recall where it was. It talks about the true tribe will know the truth when the time comes. What if my sudden need for knowledge on my history and medical herbs and all things needing a purpose, what if it's preparing me right now, because we will be there in that same area and we will be tested if we can stand alone in what we believe. Everything we've done so far will be null, because the point was to see how we evolve over time, moving things or making things harder. But were they really harder? Or were they just as hard as back then, just different scenarios? Remember, we're talking deep. We're thinking deep. Okay. Going, where are we? Everything's so sloppy. Okay. And that's where the term everything happens for a reason comes from. Going to talk in a circle for a second. Interesting how most people fear being isolated and alone. What I've discovered while being isolated and alone is people have magnificent brains, but they are so complex no one actually uses them to their full potential. Did you know you can check on someone, a relative or someone you are close to, without a phone or anything but your mind's eye? All you have to do is focus, and you can see what they are doing and where they are. I do it all the time. It makes me wonder if others do this, or if they even know they can. I've also had small visions happen to me of something about to happen just before it actually happens. There's a word for it. It's called intuition. It makes me wonder if people would let go of the fear of being alone with themselves. They too would be able to activate that kind of intuition. I think that people would learn to be more compassionate and empathetic, because when you can do this with your intuition and have sight before it happens, you then can listen to learn about someone rather than listen to respond to someone. Then there wouldn't be so much overthinking or people getting offended by every little thing all the time. And then I talked about Mammoth Mountains, which was the whole bear thing, and we've talked about that before in the documentaries. So Mammoth Mountains, I'm just giving an example. My kids and I were waiting on Preston and decided to go search for another park, so we took a little, what ended up being long, bike ride. I was pulling Levi and Aubrey in the bike trailer. Riley just learned how to ride without training wheels, and Justin got too far ahead, and I had to yell for him to come back. And just as I finished my speech about how we are in bear country and to not go far ahead, he was about to take off when I grabbed his shoulder and said, "Wait, I got a vision of bears coming our way." And sure enough, 2 bears about 6 months to a year old were coming down the path, and we were the only ones riding. There hadn't been anyone else around or in sight. Then, as the 2 bears were heading for us, as the fear of the fact that I am not and cannot be bigger than these bears, the mama bear comes and runs in front of them, steering them away from us at the moment, and runs in front of them, steering them away from us at that moment. I wanted to run, and I turned and said, "Nope, we gotta go." I started to turn around to head back to camp, and lo and behold, thank God, we were no longer the only bikers riding with a big group. There was a big group of people, and I warned them about the bears, and then to my surprise, all they said was, "Oh, the bears here won't hurt you, they are nice." In my head, I was like, What are you on, drugs? The vision of something coming or about to happen happens all the time. It's cool, but sometimes unsettling. Look, I want you to see how sloppy, okay? It's hard. I'm struggling, okay? It's freaking sloppy. I don't even know that those are words. It's so bad. Okay, so then 11, 12 of 18, or of 19, having overwhelming anxiety, I turned to reading the scriptures. This is where it gets interesting as well. Remember, thinking deeply, right? We're talking about an awakening. So 1 Peter in chapter 5. The elders which are among you, I exhort, who am also an elder and a witness at the sufferings of Christ, and also a partaker of the glory that shall be revealed. Feed the flock of God which is among you, taking the oversight thereof, not by constraint, but willingly, not for filthy lore, but of a ready mind, neither as being lords over God's heritage, but being ensamples to the flock. And when the chief shepherd shall appear, ye shall receive a crown of glory that faded not away. Likewise, ye younger, submit yourselves unto the elder. Yea, all of you be subject one to another, and be clothed in humility. For God resisteth the proud, and giveth grace to the humble. Humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of God, that you may exalt you in due time, casting all your care upon him, for he careth for you. Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. In 2 Peter, first, read entire passage. Remember what I said about diversity, compassion, empathy, and love earlier. Look at this. 2 Peter 1 through 9. Simon Peter, a servant, and an apostle of Jesus Christ, to them that have obtained like precious faith with us through the righteousness of God and our Savior, Jesus Christ, grace and peace be multiplied unto you through the knowledge of God and Jesus the Lord, according as his divine power hath given unto us all things that pertain unto life and godliness, through the knowledge of him that hath called us to glory and virtue, whereby are given unto us exceeding great and precious promises, that by these ye might be partakers of the divine nature, having escaped the corruption that is in the world through lust. And beside this, giving all diligence, add to your faith virtue, and to virtue knowledge, and to knowledge temperance, and to temperance patience, and to patience godliness, and to godliness brotherly kindness, and brotherly kindness charity. For if these things be in you, and abound, they make you that ye shall neither be barren nor unfruitful in the knowledge of our Lord Jesus Christ. But he that lacketh these things is blind, and cannot see afar off, and hath forgotten that he was purged from his old sins. 1 John 2, 15 through 17. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, then the love of the Father is not with him. I have not written unto you because ye know not the truth, but because ye know it, and that no lie is of the truth. And then I noted to look up the 7 churches. Asia, Ephesus, I'm saying that wrong, Smyrna, Pergamus, so Ephesus, Ephesus, and then Smyrna, Smyrna, Pergamos, Thyatira, Sardis, Philadelphia, Laodicea, equals the 7 stars, equals the angels of the 7 churches, and the 7 golden candlesticks are the 7 churches. For some reason I thought that was important, so I wrote it down. And then So February 6th, 2019. Was thinking about flaws today as I was putting on some makeup. I was thinking about how now in my 30s I don't wear as much makeup, and I'm proud of myself for that. I don't try to cover up my once in a while blemishes. Rather, I only even out the skin as a whole, letting blemishes here and there still appear. And I think that is important because you makeup, yes, makeup is fun and should only be used in a fun way, not in what we were taught to cover up your flaws. That's terrible. Anyway, it led me to ponder on it, accepting flaws in yourself and in others because we aren't perfect. We aren't supposed to be. If we were, we would be in heaven already because there is still much we are to do and learn. Biggest and sometimes hardest challenge in life is accepting flaws, whether in yourself or others. That's where balance and yin and yang and vows, the wedding come into play. In sickness and in health, worse or better, poor or rich, in bad times and good. Without this kind of balance, we aren't learning or growing. You need bad experiences when they occur before you get good experiences, because if you only have good experiences that are, what are you actually learning? What then is your purpose? Sickness, bad, poor, to appreciate and be aware of gratefulness is the ultimate goal. And you can't understand the meaning of gratefulness, love, appreciation, and true happiness without feeling the bad. Weird. Yeah, we'll just stop right there and then we'll continue on with the next because it is almost 20 minutes in and I was trying not to let it be that bad. But the next one was reading yesterday my great grandmother's book, Find Me a Rainbow by Lillian Gentry Barnum. So, yeah, that's so weird, but we're reading it and it's almost these dates. Crazy. Anyways, feel free to do this yourself. You know, you can do this. You can write yourself a journal, talk about it later, share your life story. You are important. And why not? Your kids can look back at it. Grandkids that you might not be able to meet later down the road. Now it'll be on a video or it'll be in a book. Either way, get it out. Write it down. It's funny because I ran into this lady. I was grocery shopping the other day, and I found myself having to like kind of check myself because I almost reclused. And she started talking. We were in the vegetable aisle, and she said something about getting an ingredient, and I was like, I know, and it's weird because I always know where the onions are, and for some reason I think I just walked by them, and now it's like I can't find them. Like, what the heck? And she goes, well, I never forget where the onions are. And she points to them, and then she told me all about this stuff, about her life, how she is a chef. She was a chef for a long time. She lived a pretty awesome life. She helped with costumes, making costumes, and then something to do with, it was like part of the school and acting and things, and then they even got to go to Hollywood over this stuff. And then just other things. She just started telling me some stuff. And then a couple of secrets to add to your recipes. Yeah. So it's just, she had a pretty awesome life, and she's sharing that with me, a complete stranger. And I'm like, you should really write this down because then it can be remembered forever. Anyways, that's my take on it. I think it should be done. We should all just do it, and why not? Life's short. It's shorter than you think, and it goes by like that. So, you guys have a better day. I will talk to you later. Peace.